You want to know what happens when the person at the very top finally sees the people holding up the whole operation? I'll tell you, it's not what you'd expect. Some stories about companies are just numbers on a spreadsheet, but every so often, the numbers don't tell you squat, and you end up in a parking lot at sunrise, staring at a building you own, wondering how the hell you lost the thread. That was me, Owen Jacobs, leaning against the hood of a rental in a city I didn't know that well. 5 years ago, I bought this restaurant chain off a retired couple who ran it like it was their own kitchen, handing out seconds to neighborhood kids and keeping everything on handshake deals. I'd brought in the polish, the branding, the systems, all the stuff people say you need if you want to grow. And we did. 6 stores, pretty decent numbers, until one location suddenly started bleeding out reviews and revenue for no reason I could see. So I went undercover. You know, old school. Wig, beard gone, rental car with plates nobody would recognize. Became Micah, a 40-year-old temp server, just another body from the agency sent to cover shifts. Nobody knew my face. I made sure of that. When you're the boss, you usually stay out of the way, no photos on the wall, no name tags, just the system. But numbers weren't adding up, so I had to get my hands dirty. First thing I noticed inside was the way the morning light hit the floor. Felt like hope and fatigue all mixed together. The manager, Tessa, sharp-eyed and clipboard in hand, didn't waste time on pleasantries. She called over a young guy named Levy, tall, thin, with those tired but kind eyes you see in people who are holding back the ocean with a mop. "He's your shadow for today," she said, and off we went. Levy moved like he was born in sneakers. He handled 4 tables, jokes with a scared kid, cleaned up someone else's mess, all without losing that gentle way about him. And I noticed he did more than his share, but he never made it a big deal. I tried to keep up, but I was supposed to play dumb. So every mistake just gave me a better view. "Man, you always this fast?" I asked him during a rare break. He smiled, tired. "Only on days they let me work." Turns out, the guy used to get 5 shifts a week. Lately, he was down to 1. No explanation, just, "We're keeping labor costs down," from Tessa. Meanwhile, the newer staff got all his hours. Most of them couldn't keep up, but got praised for just showing up. You ever hear someone say, "I think about quitting every night, but I got bills, and I'm not lazy"? That's Levy. By the time our shift ended, I knew he was the backbone of the place. But nobody in charge seemed to notice or care. That night, back at my hotel, I dug through the scheduling system. No complaints on file, no issues, just Levy's hours slowly disappearing. 2 new hires with bad reviews were suddenly golden. Tessa had left a note. "Levy's too quiet. Doesn't bring energy." I stared at that screen a long time. Next morning, I showed up early. Prep cook slicing onions like he was building a house. Barely looked at me. Place already behind before the doors opened. 2 servers had called out. Tessa, all business, told me to shadow Levy again. No questions, just move. So I moved. Levy showed up, quiet as ever, looking worn out. Phone bill bounced. He muttered, like he was apologizing for it. And you could feel something shift. I'd come to solve a numbers problem. Now it felt like something way heavier. Lunch rush hit like a freight train. Levy ran half the floor, fixed mistakes before they happened, made every customer feel seen, even when they didn't see him. Meanwhile, one of the new hires, Bryce, leaned on the counter scrolling his phone, ignoring his tables, cracking jokes with Tessa. Customers complained. Tessa just shrugged. When I covered a table Bryce ignored, Levy just nodded, grateful but not surprised. "Does Tessa ever say anything to him?" I asked. Levy just shook his head. "He's her favorite. Big energy. Says he's gonna run the place someday." I watched Tessa laugh with Bryce, watched her praise the wrong people, and I knew what I was looking at, a leadership problem hiding behind a stack of excuses. After closing, I finally got the truth out of Levy. "Why do you think you're not getting hours?" He hesitated, then said, "I don't look or act how they want. I'm not loud. I don't flirt. I just do my job. They want a show." That hit me harder than I expected. Next morning, I'd had enough. I walked into the office. Tessa was there, fingers flying over the scheduling software. I asked, straight up, why doesn't Levy get more shifts? She rolled her eyes. He's not a good fit. No energy. We want a vibe. I kept pushing. She snapped, I'm not running a robot farm. We're building a brand. I stared at her, and something in me clicked. No, you're not, I said quietly. I'm Owen Jacobs. I own this company, and I've spent the last 48 hours watching you reward laziness and punish integrity. She froze. I laid out what I'd seen. Bryce skipping work, Tessa ignoring complaints, Levy carrying the whole store without thanks. You're done here, I told her. And that was that. I called Levy into the office. Told him he was going full-time, with benefits, and a direct line to me if he ever felt overlooked again. He just nodded, not trusting the moment. But you could see the relief in his shoulders. The next day, I showed up as myself. No disguise. Walked into pre-shift. Room went quiet as I told them who I was and why I'd come. I didn't name names except for Levy. I told the staff what I'd seen. One guy holding the place together, others skating by. This wasn't about personality, I said. This was about standards. Bryce tried to argue, but I shut him down. He was done. One by one, I started cleaning house. With Tessa and Bryce gone, I brought in a new general manager, Carmen, from another location. No nonsense, no drama. The vibe shifted immediately. Levy took the lead on the floor. Staff got a chance to step up. The quiet folks found their voices. Little changes made a big difference. Someone fixed dry storage. Someone else redid the menus for allergy icons. I let them own those changes. Levy started learning the ropes behind the scenes, scheduling, ordering, even vendor calls. Carmen noticed, too. She pulled me aside, said, he's not ready to run the place yet, but he's got it in him. Let me train him. So we did. A couple weeks later, I held a team meeting. No fancy words, just the truth. This place was broken, not because of you, but because nobody listened. That ends now. Fair schedules, open doors. Anyone who wants to grow, I'll make sure you get the tools. Anyone coasting will be held accountable. And every 2 months, I'll be back, not as a boss, but as a worker. No applause, just nods. That was enough. Outside, Carmen asked if I'd stay longer. I said no, it was time to step back. You think they're ready? She asked. They've always been ready. Just needed someone to take the weight off. You know, I built this company because I swore I'd never become the kind of boss I hated working for. Somewhere along the way, I stopped checking. That won't happen again. I left. I heard the sound of chairs being stacked, steady and unbroken. The story isn't about me, really. It's about the folks who keep showing up, even when nobody's watching, even when nobody seems to care. So let me ask you, if you were in my shoes, would you have seen what was really going on, or would you have let the numbers decide for you? And how do you think real change actually starts? In the office or out on the floor? Drop your thoughts below. What does fairness mean in your world? Have you ever worked somewhere that felt upside down, or seen someone overlooked who shouldn't be? Let's talk about it, because sometimes the real story isn't on the schedule. It's the one nobody's telling yet.